Welcome to the Confident Retirement Podcast. Is doing the most important things alone a good idea? How comfy are you with your choices when it comes to life's biggest decisions? What is real peace of mind with financial confidence, and how can you get it? Kris Flammang and Mark Peachy are the founders of LPF Advisors in Sarasota, Florida. On the show, they bring together the best and brightest minds to share with you how to have a more confident financial picture. They empower listeners with simple, common sense and financial wisdom. And now, here are your hosts from LPF Advisors.
So I want to welcome everybody to the Confident Retirement Podcast brought to you by LPF Advisors. I'm your host, Kris Flammang, and today I'm really excited about our guests. Have you ever thought about working, living, or retiring overseas? It seems like a pipe dream, but maybe it's not so far out there. Emily Bron is a Toronto-based international lifestyle consultant who has spent the last decade pursuing the best way to make overseas living possible. Her company specializes in aiding remote workers to find ideal destinations and helping clients discover the best places in the world to retire based on their unique circumstances. Emily, thanks for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me opportunity to meet you and speak with your followers and clients. I'm happy to share my information, and I know people would have questions about my business.
Well, I have so many questions, so we're gonna jump in. So I know that living, working, or retiring overseas has crossed everybody's mind at some point, right? Everyone thinks about that, but few people actually do it. So I'd like you to take us through your story of what led you to opening up your business, helping people realize that dream.
So actually you outlined correctly maybe the main difference between me and many other people. I am dreamer, but I'm also doer. So I've had this dream for years. And speaking about my particular life and life experience, I was born in former Soviet Union, in what is now independent Republic of Moldova. I lived for years in what is now independent Republic of Ukraine, traveled a lot in former Soviet countries, like former now, lived for years in Israel, and my second immigration for 24 years, I'm living in Canada. And at the same time, I'm an avid traveler, and I traveled in more than 40 countries in the world, during my lifespan. And I know exactly what is the difference between immigration, travel, and even digital nomad style. It's not for everyone, and I don't want to go to details right now. Living for years and having home in Canada and children, my family here, a couple of years ago, I realized that unfortunately, probably it will be not my last station, but I didn't take it, hard because of, cost of living. And I realized that even with my hard work, and I was working as IT consultant for years in Toronto, and actually changed several professions, starting from engineering and other fields before, I realized that with cost of living rising and other circumstances, I probably could not retire, as I wish in Canada. And on advices to me to go up north a couple of 100 kilometers, I thought, no, I better would go south. And I started my exploration, which I actually had before. In my first experience, probably as many of listeners, it's Costa Rica, but I traveled in Panama, in Mexico, in other countries. I knew a lot of Europe, like I'm as Eastern European, I've had more knowledge at this point about European countries, but I was starting to discover what Latin America can offer me and after then us, because I realized many people might find themselves in the same situation. And what I started to do actually to connect with local expat communities. So point of my interest are expat communities. And I started to collect information about life overseas in regards to retirees, baby boomers, actually, it was, and it's still my first target group. Actually, small secret, I belong to this group and like last wave, and I fully understand and share probably the same concerns baby boomers in United States and Canada have at this point or might have soon. And several years ago, I opened, just as a side project, my travel company, my boutique small travel passion. It was the name. And the first two business direction I started to develop, it's medical tourism, but it's again the same countries, Mexico, Panama, Nicaragua. And I launched program looking for retirement places with my business partner in Mexico. So we created like 2 tours I created for Riviera Maya and for central Mexican states from the cultural perspective to provide people information about what country is Mexico, because I felt it's under evaluated, with all the media. So like from lifestyle perspective, what kind of people are living, culture, the information that probably majority of people could not find in the internet. So after some time, I decided that Mexico, it's not enough for me. And because I understood that different people have different preferences, different budget, different desires. For example, Europeans, like in my Toronto communities, Eastern Europeans, immigrants prefer Europe. So other people would prefer Americas, Latin America. I cannot cover all the world just to, there is a question sometimes about Asia, and I know how several wonderful places can be found and exist in Asia, but so far I'm covering Europe and Latin America.
Well, you're only one person.
Yes, right? At this time, with my connections in countries, and by the way, I have website, emilybron.com, and destination tab on this website actually listing the countries I'm working with. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's many countries where people might find the home, but in these particular countries, first of all, I have information, resources, and I have local connections, community connections, like real estate developers, immigrant lawyers, or expat who might help people when they decided and landed in particular destination.
So what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about working or living remotely, like, overseas or in retirement? What's a big misconception that people have?
First of all, I would divide remote workers from retirees, which somehow can be overlapped. So remote worker direction, I actually added last year when I converted my business being from travel to actually international lifestyle consulting, when I realized that additional category of people, and usually the younger than baby boomers like 55 plus, but might cover the same group age. People found after a year working remotely from home that they can do, the same work, enjoying their life in the South, like in Mexico and other countries, Belize, Panama, Portugal. So this trend existed before for digital nomads who were kind of entertaining this lifestyle for years. But now why I derive remote workers, because usually it's a family-oriented people, people who just recently found the new condition and opportunities to work from different places. And it might happen part-time. I'm not speaking about relocation only or immigration. Today we are not immigrating, we're relocating full-time or part-time. Mm-hmm. And different groups have different, priorities in life. That's why I clearly understand that for retirees, the most important questions probably would be health system, health care and the destination. Even now, everyone understands how it's important, after a year of COVID. But, for aging groups, it became first priority, like how close it's to home, logistic, community living, by the way, important for both groups, but in different setting. But what I found, for example, in Mexico, it's very interesting for me was to actually find out that the same places is digital nomad hubs are good for retirees, like Riviera Maya, like Playa del Carmen, for example. It's a world-known hub for digital nomads. But at the same time, there is a lot of retirees who selected this city and this region, for living. The same, I would say, maybe in less respect to digital nomad Puerto Vallarta or central Mexican state. But every place, state, Mexican state in this case, has some specifics, cost of living, medical health condition, what kind of people. I'm speaking about expats and local people living there, like, more or less industrial, mountain. It depends what person prefer to see, in the morning. It might be a mountain view, for example, for me, or seashore for other people. I'm taking in consideration, many factors which really provide people a sense of comfort and lifestyle they desire.
So are there some common fears or concerns that people have when they work with you about the relocation process, or moving to another country permanently in retirement? Is there some some common things they're afraid of or want you to ease their mind about?
Obviously, that's why actually I opened my business, because I understood and I realized after communicating with a number of people, and I was participating in several international conferences in this topic, people considering this move, but sometimes they don't have, travel experience. And it's not only travel experience, immigration experience. And it's, all what I was trying to resolve on my own, being, young and after then part of the family, and now kind of almost empty nester. So I understand these concerns, but I think the biggest concerns American and Canadians have at this time, they might overlive their spending, their retirement saving, because it was proven that after economical meltdown in 2008, some people, small business owners, and even people who were considering they having enough retirement funds, found out that they evaporated, they melted out. Some people, found that they cannot subsidize their living for the future, and actually to age with dignity. You might remember recently Nomadland movies actually kind of touch this topic. And I believe, I know that after, this COVID time, like will subside, we will have more statistics, and it's reality. People who lost their small businesses, middle class, actually suffered it most. So what I'm proposing as a solution, how people can stretch their dollars, their saving, at the same time not decrease, lifestyle, and maybe even get luxury on, paycheck, social security checks they might receive in the United States. And we know about cost of health expenses rising, actually the same coming to Canada. But what I'm offering actually to alleviate the stresses and fears, what I'm saying, let's work together and prepare a plan, step-by-step plan. It's what I am offering to people, and it's where I am here and actually offering my services. So there is some initial consultation, and people can find questionnaire on my website on consultation page, know yourself questionnaire, like financial advisors and other specialists are offering. But here it's actually detailed questionnaire from different lifestyle aspects. And I'm asking people to fill it together with their partners, like family members, if they're planning it together. Because at this level, it's better to clarify some differences and to understand and have actually, common vision and plans, what might be the better condition. And I do it, by budget, taking in account a specific family condition, health condition, and many other factors which are people actually identifying in a form. So they come to me and we're starting to work together, kind of have a feeling already, what country might work for them, or maybe they have already idea. I've had cases when people were asking me about, say, Ecuador, and I was asking, okay, why Ecuador? And I found out only because, their friend or somebody they know actually retired in Ecuador. But during the conversation, I found that actually Portugal might work better for this person and situation, And it's just discovery. And when person understand and kind of mentally ready, we're working step by step, and here it's professional work as well, because people should consider their tax situation, to speak with their financial advisor, and I'm giving along the road different advices.
Yeah. So is there some common things that people have to do with their finances when they're relocating permanently overseas? Not depending on the country, but just common things, how they have to arrange their finances in order to make that transition seamless?
Look, I'm not financial advisor. That's why I'm in contact with financial advisors in Canada, in United States, with tax advisor in Canada, in United States. And even people, temporarily considering to work in different place, I would advise them to go and maybe to rearrange their plans, financial plans with a specialist. It's what I'm to advise. But speaking, actually, and there is a difference between Canada and United States in regard to taxes, because Americans tax in every place, might find themselves. So I'm giving, enough time to work and to understand from this perspective what might work for this person or family.
But generally, they can have bank accounts in the other country, and also bank accounts, but it depends.
Depends on the country. That's why we're specifying the country, one country or maybe two, and after them, looking on the option. Okay, Mexico is the best example. As a Canadians and Americans, we can spend in Mexico up to 6 months on a tourist visa. So you don't need any immigration papers. It's kind of straightforward if you would consider it. But after this, maybe sometimes people might consider that it might be their temporary residence. It's a different story. But Mexico actually offering this easy, like less paper condition now. But if it's different country, it's a different condition.
Okay. So if things had opened up, you were able to travel anywhere that you wanted to. I'm curious what your number one destination recommendation is for any traveler, just anywhere that they could go, one of the best place that you've ever been.
Oh, you mean as a travel agent?
Yeah, yes, personally.
It's again very personal. It depends who, different people have different preferences. Lately, I am traveling mostly, for business purposes, but I'm enjoying it at the same time.
Yes.
So, for example, I like culture and history. So when I'm going to any places, I'm preparing in advance. I know what museum, what places, what landmarks I am about to visit, and it's part of my plan. So even this year, there is still uncertainty, what countries are open, what closed. That's why it's so hard to give any advices. But what I can tell, I am planning my time out of Canada. Actually, I was planning to spend my winter in Mexico because me and my Mexican partner plan to have itinerary and driving through the 7 different Mexican states to communicate with people. My interest was with local expat communities. His interest was, to look for the places and development, because a lot of development and constructions going on in Mexico over the last couple of years. And Mexico was open. Over all this time, Mexico, it's one of not so many countries which actually didn't close the borders for foreigners. It was closed like American and Canadian border closed, but not Mexicans. Obviously, they paid the price because and the COVID level kind of still high. But it's what I'm planning, and I know that many people already, vacationing or looking for opportunities in Mexico. In Mexico, it's a huge country. Again, even in Mexico, I would advise better places based on the particular situation. Like, for example, I have my property, which I purchased 3 years ago in Riviera Maya. And it was okay, and it's emerging region, and many people Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, it's kind of known now worldwide. But I realized if I would have when I would move, and I'm planning to move to Mexico, it's one of my options. I would like to live in different region, and for example, central Mexico. So now with all this knowledge, my plan is kind of to sell this apartment and move it to Querétaro or Guanajuato.
So what kind of lifestyle options are available in those destination countries that you have the most expertise in?
Good question, and it's exactly what I'm about. Even in Mexico, you can live in central Mexican states with different weather, climate, people, and cost of living. When I'm speaking about Belize, I have partners in Belize. Even in Belize, there are two locations, kind of mainland with moderate climate and community, and ambergris sky, where it's more tropical. So depending on what people prefer and what they're looking for, I am advising community in Nicaragua. It's actually Americans who already living in Nicaragua for more than 20 years, built for Americans and Canadians and whoever want to join. I mean, it's American quality and design and local prices, and what might be better. It's already community which now just developing, and more people join different projects in this community. So Speaking about Europe, here's the difference. Like lifestyle in Italy, it might be more pastoral, Tuscany-like, for people who like this lifestyle. Even in Portugal, there are 3-4 different regions which are offering different lifestyle. So it's all consideration of what people are looking for, health condition. In Europe now, it's a little bit more complicated. I mean, more, I would say, bureaucracy, but at the same time, there is more investment by citizen by investment condition lately known, in Europe, in Caribbean islands, but I'm focusing on countries which can be found on my website.
Okay. So outside of your business, I'm curious if there's something that you are really passionate about personally.
Travel.
Travel, okay. I thought that might be the answer.
Yes, it all started with my travel passion, which I kind of never had time to enjoy in full. I mean, between contracts, almost like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I was thinking, when finally I will, do it in the pace I wish, to spend, several months and really to get some connection or enjoy the place and new culture. It's how actually the idea about living in different places was born for me. And later I realized that many people share the same passions and interests, but I do it now in organized way. I'm developing my connections in different countries, and I have planned for more countries, but don't want to announce now because, by the way, I'm not offering some things that I have not yet visited. So I need to be confident. I need to know people. And even now I have some connections via Zoom online, but I'm planning later to be in Europe and to add some additional destination to my portfolio, actually the portfolio of my clients.
So is that the most exciting part about your business right now? Is the addition of those other destinations? Is that the biggest opportunity?
Maybe. I like to discover new places, but I would say, I think the most exciting part for me, it's actually to help people, help people to find the place where they might prosper, enjoy their life, working all years hard, sometimes people juggling several workplaces. And I think it's time. Like for me, retirement, it's not a shutdown of the life, vice versa. It's a start of the new chapter. Yeah. Like now it's a time for you to do what you like, to enjoy your life, to be active. It's active living. It's not for everyone. I understand it. But if you would like really to enjoy life in a full and to learn from the cultures, to enjoy different lifestyles, it's actually what I'm proposing as well. I know people, and I wish I would be able to do the same, to live during the year, like in 2-3 different places. It should be considered carefully, from tax and money and all other perspective, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm. So on the flip side of that, what do you think is your biggest challenge for your business or your biggest obstacle? I mean, other than the pandemic and everything that's gone on with that, what do you see as your biggest challenge?
The biggest channels actually for people to find me and for me to find the people, like I would say marketing side, because I see myself and understand people bombarded today with multiple, offers, ads, advertisement of different kind, campaigns. And it's really hard to find, reliable sources. For example, my sources, I was collecting and checking over the years, and my local providers are really proven in many regards. But, sometimes I'm speaking and people have two consultation with me, and after say, okay, thanks, we will do our research in the Google. And I say, okay, God bless you. Google is big. Google will provide you with all kind of information which might really confuse people, or I would like to eliminate possibility of mistake or missteps. And because I know how hard to be lost in amount of information, and it might be good, like the place and the country might be good. The question, is it good for you?
Right.
For your particular condition?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head, which is that's really what I see as being the difference between what you do and maybe just doing a Google search or using a general travel agency is you have that expertise and wisdom, the connections and the know-how to actually get a solution together for that person's particular situation. You're going to take the time to ask them the questions to find out about them, which that ties in really well. That's what we do when we're working with clients, because there's plenty of information on the internet. You just said it. You can go out there and get everything you want to know about any particular destination, but is it right for you? And there's lots of questions that Google doesn't know to ask you back, right? Google's not asking you questions back. You're just asking Google for information. So I think that's very well said, Emily. Very well said. Go ahead.
Google will bombard you after then with not relevant information. I know it myself when I do a search. It's how the same Facebook, like I'm working with Facebook, trying to reach people. And I notice lately my potential clients coming out of Facebook. It's what I found. Couple of groups that I was working with kind of shut down or went to different virtual spaces. It's one of the challenges. That's why I'm trying to speak out now, to be on podcast, to let people know. And some people, they even, why they would do search about it, they don't know that it exists, because whatever I'm doing, nobody in the world is providing. So it's hard to know what you don't know. And you
can be the best person that is able to do this, but if people don't know that you're out there or that you exist, then that doesn't matter. That's right. So if people want to learn more about you or contact you, what's the best way to do that?
The best way to do it, to go to my website, which is Emily Bron, all together as you see on my logo, emilybron.com. And on this website, people can find questionnaire I mentioned. People can find all information, a couple of videos, countries I'm working with. By the way, there is Tour to Belize, which I created, which can be found in my website as well. It's kind of additional service I'm giving now. People can find my blog, and I will be adding more content when I will be traveling in Central America and Mexico and Europe, because all what I do, what I'm looking for you guys to find more information and to find the places which will match different life and personal condition.
Yeah, I was on your website for a while, and there was lots of info on there. It's a great layout. I was getting inspired. I was starting to think about places that I might want to go. So I encourage everyone to check that out. And Emily, I want to thank you for being with me here today. You've been a very insightful guest, and I think I might be ready to relocate after this.
Thank you. You're welcome. By the way, lately, there's 2 new ebooks now found in my website. Again, I'm providing a lot of information about countries. Just I really feel that people need to be educated. I mean, to get a sense of the country and culture, and consider it's a new adventure. It's actually life is opening up, with specifically after COVID. We get different perspective on life, and life-work balance. What I'm saying, less stress by preparing correctly and to find the place where you can enjoy life.
Thanks, Emily. And to all of our listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Confident Retirement Podcast brought to you by LPF Advisors, where we're raising the retirement confidence of everyday people to another level, one show at a time. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Confident Retirement Podcast with Kris and Mark from LPF Advisors. For more information on them and retiring confidently, please visit lpfadvisors.com. If your ears are pleased and your mind is now at ease, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.